Three, two, one, away we go. Right, folks, welcome to the latest James Perry Presents. I'm obviously delighted I've got a bit of a legend here in my eyes, anyway, Mr. Brad Burton. I think we connected, oh God, maybe a couple of years ago on LinkedIn and we maybe exchanged a few messages. I was crossing your Now What event last year.
Yeah.
Amazing. In Birmingham Aston Villa Football Club. Brad, I normally do a rambling bio, but I'm not going to do that. I was going to ask you to describe yourself in 5 words. I'm not going to do that, but I'm going to let you be eloquent and describe where you came from and how you got to where you got to.
Good man. All right, so listen, I'm just a working class lad from Salford, Manchester, brought up on council estates. My dad left when I was 6 months old. My mum brought me up, and I moved 14 times from being 8 to about 14. I just kind of wanted to settle down, really. I left school with no qualifications, a bit of a class clown. Done 4 years on benefits, been addicted to drugs twice, pretty much was the nearly man. I kind of just never quite made it, ever. I was in a career, my face didn't fit. I'm northern, I'm not formal, So I was always the mid-tier, mid-management for a job that I might have lasted 18 months and so forth. Yeah. Anyway, when my life kind of turned around, I'm 45 now, 46 next month. Was at 31-year-old, where basically I went, you know what, to an employer, shove your job up your ass, and I walked out of a job, started my own business off. Nobody gave me a chance, nobody apart from me. And now, fast forward 14 years, I'm the founder of 4 Networking, the UK's largest business, joined up business network, thousands of members. I've written 4 books, and I'm a motivational speaker. But I think the point of all this is that, you know, for 31 years, I was just a normal guy. And then somewhere along the way in the last, say, 14 years, I've kind of got exceptional results from pretty unexceptional baseline, to be honest.
But Brad, was there a watershed moment whenever you were 31 and you went, frig this, I couldn't be bothered anymore, let's move on?
Absolutely. And I'll tell you what happened. I can tell you the exact moment. It was like my Robert the Bruce moment. I was working for a company over in on the A13 in London as head of marketing, 30 grand a year. And that'd be all right, 30 grand a year back in 2003 or whatever it was. If I didn't have digs over in London and have a home over in Somerset. So I'm away from my family. I'm on 30 grand a year, which actually, when you take your cost off, I might as well have been flipping hamburgers over in Western supermarkets. Do you know what I mean? I'm thinking, hang on, this is crazy. And it's the penny dropped. So anyway, one evening, I used to stick around in the office using their computers and Wi-Fi. Sorry, Wi-Fi. I didn't have Wi-Fi. They had the LAN. So this is before Wi-Fi is prevalent on phones and stuff. So I was living in digs in one room in a shared house, and for 3 days a week. So I used to stay in the office, and I used to call it bleat and 2 veg. I'd sit there bitching about the company, using their internet till 8 o'clock at night. Then I'd go to my digs, arrive there at 9 o'clock, have some microwave rice, wake up at 6, go to the office, and so forth. And I remember being there, 8 o'clock, last person in the office, and I drove past a guy going in a house with electric gates, and he had a Mercedes or BMW. And I remember thinking, I could work 80 or 100-hour weeks here for this company. Still never be able to afford the frigging gates. Yeah. Everything I've been told is a fucking myth. Boom. And that was it. Everything changed. And that, like, literally, that was it. It was almost like everything. I wonder if I wouldn't have, or they'd gone a different way, or I'd have been late. But it just.
So it was like Groundhog Day, or that flipping monotonous cycle just went boom, broke in, and went, right, let's move on.
So what ends up happening is most people are on autopilot. So what ends up happening is we get up at 6 o'clock and we go and see the kids. Then we go to get a Costa. Then we go to the office. Then we watch a little bit of Sky News in the morning. Then we go on our computer. Then at 12 o'clock we have a break. Then at 5:29 we close the PC. And we just end up doing this. Those minutes become hours. Those hours become days. Those days become weeks. Those weeks become months. Those months become years. Those years become a life. And we end up in a place where we don't want to be. And I think that's what happened to me, is that I changed everything instantly.
The good old hamster wheel, eh?
True story.
So in terms of, right, the idea for 4 Networking, where did that come out of? Did you wake up one night, or what happened?
No. So 4 Networking, we run 5,000 meetings across the UK, business networking meetings each year. And when I first started, we run 1. That was it. And what had happened is I'm from Manchester, and I got shot at when I was 21-year-old. We can get into it later. I got shot at when I was 21, and I moved away from Manchester to Somerset. So I didn't know anyone. And then I started this business off when I walked out of a job, told my employer to shove his job on his backside, started a marketing business off. And then what I was really good at is I'd ring people up to get an appointment, and you ring them and ring them, send them letters and stuff. And eventually you get an appointment after 8 weeks of work. And then I'd have an hour appointment with you, say, so I'd drive to your office, and I'm skint at the moment. I'd drive to your office, £8 a diesel, £4 parking, go see you, got an hour meeting, Jim. And then 2 minutes in of the hour meeting, you'd recognise something that I don't like you, you don't like me, and now we've got 58 minutes of bullshit to go.
Yeah. Right there.
And right, of course we have. And that's the conventional way of doing business. And I just looked at this and thought, hang about, I need appointments. Every business in the world needs appointments. Appointment is this, talking to someone. And that's what I did. I created a business network that does that, creates appointments. Now, there is other business networks, but in political terms, you have the loony left of networking, where nothing quite happens. It's a bit like a frigging school disco. Everyone turns up there, don't know anyone, drinking Chablis and wine and talking posh. What do you do, James? Oh, that's really interesting, that. Here's my card, any referrals, and I'll give you 20. Just all that nonsense. Then you have the hardcore, right, where's your leads, where's your referrals, you have to attend, you've got to bring visitors. Whoa! So, loony left, hard right, where was the mainstream of networking? I saw a massive opportunity, because for a business network for normal people. And that was, I consider myself to be a normal person.
So it's getting like-minded people together to help each other out, essentially, without this tea-haying, without dealing out business cards like they're bloody deck of playing cards, and without all bullshit.
Well, you know, it's about building relationships, and people get this wrong.
Yeah.
So for networking has a fundamentally different approach to any other network in the world. What we've got is as a member of For Networking, you don't join one group like conventionally. What happens is somebody joins Shoreditch group at a network and they go there every week. What happens with For Networking is right now there is 43 groups running today. So as a member, you could be anywhere in the UK. It's like a gym, David Lloyd gym. You can go any network. So you can go, if you're going to Manchester and you've got a job there in the afternoon, a meeting, have the For Networking meeting between 8 and 10, then go to your meeting. So we've got a national network. No one's ever done that before. Completely unique.
So with For Networking, public speaking, corporate gigs, family, how the hell do you get time? How the hell do you get, I was going to say, how the hell do you get time to write 4 books?
Well, listen, this is the thing. I use my time twice. So when I go to the gym, and I know you've just been to the gym, when I go to the gym, I'm thinking. See, what ends up happening is people consider work to be sat in front of a laptop.
Yeah.
I'm working now. I'm working when I'm walking to the gym. I'm working when I'm resting. See, this is the thing. You find time because you're multitasking. You're using your time twice, not in a binary system where you're now working, you're now in the gym. So I do the both. I'm always, like I say, use it. I always let that happen. Use my time twice. That's how I do it.
That's a good bit of advice to everyone listening to this one. And you're in Games Master, which I thought was the most impressive thing of the lot.
well, listen, I mean, this is the thing that you got to understand. I was on Games Master when I was 19, 20. I was a games reviewer. So I was a games reviewer on magazines like Amiga Action, Super Nintendo, Super Action, it was called back then, Mega Action, the Mega Drive, and so forth. And I got plucked out. And if you go and Google Brad Burton Games Master, you'll see me with Dominic Diamond doing reviews and this, that, and the other. And it just shows you, even back then, before I lost my way, there was something about me, charisma or whatever, that allowed me, you know, and that experience, going back from Games Master back in 92, 93, whenever it was, that's put me in good stead now, because right now I'm a showman, you know what I mean? That's what I do. And I always had that about me, but for whatever reason, I let society tell me what I could be, that I can't do it my way.
The conditioning of society, But whenever I was at your event, you said something about running your own race, right? Which really hit me. So for anyone out there, how can someone dig right deep down, find what they want to do to run their own race? Anything on that?
So here's the thing. The UK's #1 motivational business speaker, right? I get booked by companies, like global companies, like billion-dollar businesses. I get booked. Now, when I first started doing this, I turn up, look at me, tattoos. This is how I dress when I speak, right? When I speak. And people told me I would never get booked. I'm too northern, I'm too rough, I'm too unprofessional, blah, 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 blah. Now, if I would have listened to those people, they said I needed to have a nice suit and a crisp suit, and what you need to do, Brad, you need to, when you go up to the left, you need to talk about the past and then right the future. No. What you need to be is you. This is where we go wrong. There's a reason that racehorses have blinkers on. They don't give a shit what the competition's doing. And the same applies to me. I don't care. I don't listen to what people tell me I should do. I do it my way. That's what running your race is about. Having complete confidence in what you're doing. Now, if I'd have listened to all those people who told me I'd got it wrong, then I wouldn't be getting booked as I am. Now, when you've got, let's say for the sake of this conversation, 100 motivational speakers in the UK, 99 of them are wearing nice suits, and lovely shirts, and so there's one who, boom. So I'm standing out in a field where everyone's fighting over the same space. Those 99 people, crack on. You guys fight. I have got my own space. That's what running your own race is about.
And the thing is, too, in the world of this bloody thing, comparison's killing people. Big time. Oh, completely. Completely get that. So in terms
but James, let me just tell you something. Stop looking at frigging people's Instagram, because people are telling you, I've got a blog, and I think you might have seen it, that millionaire mindset thing. I just blag it. I've got friends of mine that are hyper wealthy. They've got fucking 20 or 30 supercars in the garage. I could go to their house now, go and take a filming crew, and get me flying in a helicopters, Lamborghinis, Bugattis, and set up a scene and a Facebook advert within like 2 days, right? Of showing me being hyper. People would be willing to give me money based on what I'm showing them. And I'm telling you something, this is what you need to understand. You know, the journey, if you listen to the way that I teach and the way that I preach on this stuff, right, which is this, the journey that you're going to go on, that you need to go on, is going to be long and arduous. What today's social media world is they try to present that it's not going to be long and it's not going to be arduous, it's going to be quick. But all you need to do is to release it, is to sign a check for 10,000 quid and you will find a way. But let me tell you something. It's going to be long and arduous. And I'm being really honest. Now, people don't want to listen to that. They would rather listen to someone getting out of a Lamborghini telling you, you can go watch a Facebook video and sign up for this. And I'm telling you something. I have seen people ripped off. Nothing to do with me, not my world. I'm going against these people who get ripping people off. But I've seen people ripped off because they have followed the greed. And it's even worse than that. Once they're ripped off, they're embarrassed and they don't tell people they've been ripped off. So the whole industry relies on that. So
it's good to get quick or get rich quick schemes.
Yeah, and there's no such thing. The only way that someone gets rich quick is when someone gets skinned quick. It's the only way.
See then, whenever you've went from broke and in debt, right, and drugs and being shot up, to going to businessman. And what's the one quality you put it down to, Brad?
Well, I'll tell you something. This is the great thing about this, is that I am glad that I am the person that I am, because I've still got that street mentality in that actually I'm willing to do what it takes, right? I'm tenacious, I'm resourceful, I'll make shit happen. So I would say the one quality that I've got is tenacity and consistency. Consistency, getting up every single day, even when you don't want to do it, and keep doing the things, right? And actually, seemingly, so I'll give you an example. I go and speak, there's pictures on the walls there of me speaking in front of thousands of people. And I'll tell you something. As recent as I've been speaking now for 13 years professionally, I've spoke over 2,000 times. As recently as 8 months ago, I've been backstage like scared to death. And I've got to go out there. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Brad Burton, and it's a surreal world where you walk on there. Yo, you know.
I remember you saying that in Villa Park. And you were shitting yourself.
Yeah, and I'm being honest about it. But what you've got to do is you've got to keep getting up and up and up and up and up, because outside of that fear is where you get learned the most. And actually, some people don't. So I've died in front of 200 or 300 people. Died. Speaking for 45 minutes. I've done 20 minutes of material. Nothing. I've got nothing left. I've got 25 minutes to go. And people are just looking at me blankly. And I've got 25 minutes to go. And actually, when you come off stage and you commando roll out of there and you feel embarrassed, my ears, I've seen the photographs, my ears were red because of the embarrassment, the heat sinks. And actually, it's that ability to go, you know what did I learn from this? Boom. And you know something, Jim? What an expert is someone that has made all the mistakes in a particular niche field. In order for you to be an expert in accountancy, whatever your field is, you have to make all those mistakes. And people don't want to make mistakes, but that's how you learn.
The other thing that you said was work your butt off, and it was BUT, right?
Yeah.
And the fear of failure, the fear of success even.
Yeah, get it.
So you say, to hell with this here. I'm going to learn from all this crap. Let's move on.
So let's
let's go to hell with the competition and move forward.
Oh, well, you know something, that is one of those ones, gum shielding. All right, I tell you, it's those haters back in the day, they used to ruin me. I was like, yes, now fucking bring it on. Great. I use that. Honestly, it's wonderful, because every single thing that everyone's ever leveled at me, I have proven wrong. Now, here's the thing. I had someone a few months ago going on social media, oh, well, you're not, wealthy enough to, and you've got self-limiting beliefs. Let me tell you something, right? I do not want a fucking yacht. I don't want a jet. I don't want to be Grant Cardone. I don't want to have $750 loafers having a dickhead press shot of me squatting over a fucking yacht. I couldn't give a fuck. What I want to do is, what I want in my world, for my goal, is to be happy. And guess what? I don't know anyone more happy or consistently happy in the world. I don't, right? I could not have said this 6 years ago, because my focus was on money.
How has your priorities changed then over that period? Because I remember you said the 3 priorities for you was do. Now it's the flip.
So the old days, my priorities were business, family, and health. That was, and that's what I managed to get this business on a national level. Now, the problem with business, family, and health is my business was flying. My family was shot to pieces. I didn't know them. Me and the wife were near divorce, and I got type 2 diabetes. I was 3 stone heavier, and high blood pressure, and a nervous breakdown. That's what happened in 2012 for me.
Yep.
So I've now flipped it now, and my focus is 1, health, 2, family, 3, business. And you said to me, how do I find time? How do I find time? Right now, in a second, the wife, she just walked in. I'll just hit it then. She just walked in with the dogs. I'm going to go and spend some time with my wife, and we're just going to go to the gym. Then we're going to go and grab some food. And whilst that's happening, I'll be taking calls. So I'm using my time twice again, right? And people might say, well, okay, you need to be in the moment with your wife. Well, when we go to lunch, I will be. You see what I'm saying? So my priorities have changed. And look, it's all very well me saying, oh, yeah, you need to do family, health, family. If I would have started my business back in 2006 with that mentality, it wouldn't be what it is now. So I'm being really honest here. Okay. But there comes a time where what ends up happening is you end up with the old rule book that you've not changed. So, for instance, I was using the Salford Street Kid rule book for a long time. Way after I should have fucking closed that chapter and said, fuck off, that's not what I'm about.
Yep.
Right? The same goes for that whole thing about business being the focus, then the family, then the health. I used that playbook for too long. And this is what it's about, because what we end up doing is going that autopilot. Days become weeks, weeks become months, months become years. So what you need to do is say, okay, the rules that you're playing by right now, has the game changed? Yes or no? And for the vast majority of people, it has, and they've not changed the rule book.
And yeah, it's all about balance, though, isn't it? It's getting that balance right of everything.
Well, it is. However, I'm now in a situation where technically I don't have to work. I could retire, right? Mm-hmm. And yeah, I choose to work. Now that's an interesting point. This book here, Now What?
Yep.
The reason I wrote that book, and let me just show you my other books there. You've got Get Off Your Ass 2. No, Life Business just got easier down here. There you go. Right. Yep. So the reason I wrote Now What was because I'd reached that point in my life where I'd got everything that I wanted, every material thing, and I said, now what? Because I'm thinking, shit. Now this is the bit where some other people will say, hey, you need to have bigger goals. What you need to do is you need to go and get a volcano, hollow volcano. And you need to put a rocket in there. And what you need to do is, whoa, stop. I'm just a guy from frigging Council Estates in Manchester. I've got everything that I want sensibly. Don't get me wrong. There's some things that I would have if I had unlimited funds, but I don't. But I'm not prepared to work for them.
Yep.
So would I have a Lamborghini outside? Yes. Am I prepared to work for it? No. If I did the lottery, I don't. If I did the lottery and won the lottery tomorrow, would I go buy a Lamborghini? Yes. Right? But you see what I'm saying? So there's a balancing act here, and you need to weigh up what's important. And if you do want a Lamborghini, this is the other thing. I always say to people about your goals. If your only motivation is money, it's not enough. And I'll give you an example of that. If your only motivation is money, yeah, I want a Lamborghini. Boom. You still want a Lamborghini? Yeah. Boom. You still want a Lamborghini? Yeah. Boom. You still want, okay, you get the point. There comes a point when you go, actually, no, I don't. Not that much. If, however, it was about your family, as in my case it is, I would do anything for my family.
Yep.
So boom, keep going. So what I've done is I've tuned in all my thinking, I've tuned in all my approach to my family, so that any adversity that I've got to overcome, it's not about money. Because if it is, you can't do it. If it's about your family, you'll do anything.
What about, so you're talking about quality of life and on balance. So for all the people who are going to be watching this, what's the one thing that they could do, Brad, now to improve their life right now? We're in the new year. People are talking about New Year's resolutions, which will probably break, right, in the next couple of weeks. But what's one definite concrete thing they could do now to improve their lives?
Start accepting that they need to be them. Right? Stop looking at what you believe the world wants you to be. And what I mean by that is, business owners can end up watching The Apprentice and feel that that's the way to be, a business owner, or Dragon's Den, and it's this, that, and the other, or looking at Elon Musk or Richard Branson or Alan Sugar and da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Right? Let me tell you something. The vast majority of people tuning into this are never going to own a yacht. They're never going to own a billion-dollar business. So if that's your aspirations and your dreams, you're in danger zone, because there's a long way from where you are now to where you want to get, that actually, if you don't make it, you're going to feel a failure. So here's the thing. The way that you make £1 million business is by making a £10,000 month first, then an 11, then a 12, then 100, then a so forth. This is what people need to do. Stop having these goals, these dreams that are so big they cause nightmares.
Which
and this is what I would say.
About social media is bullshitting about that.
Totally. Because you've got 26-year-old kids getting out of Lamborghinis, and you're thinking, hang about, I'm 27, I've not got a Lamborghini. And now you feel like a piece of shit. Right?
Yeah.
But even if it is, I can give you an anomaly. I can give you 1 million anomalies, right? Where someone has done it. How many business networks out there have people tried that none of them have made national? Me, I'm the only one who's ever made a joined up national network. The only one ever. So someone can go and get my playbook. I can go and do a video and say, hey, here's how you do flow networking. But here's the thing. Give you an example of this. Jamie Oliver, if he's got a kitchen there, I've got a kitchen back to back, 2 foot away, all the same ingredients, all the same gear, all the same thing, and all the same measuring stuff. And he says to me, right, Brad, here's how you make a souffle. Watch this. And I watch him, and I go and repeat it. And do it, okay, right, brilliant. And then an hour later, his souffle comes out beautiful. It tastes amazing. My souffle comes out like a piece of shit. Why? Because the thing that I'm missing, the ingredient that I'm missing, is experience.
Yeah.
And that's the bit where people get it twisted. But social media will tell you that somewhere along the way, you can go on Jamie Oliver's online course for 10 grand, and you can make a souffle just like kids. And you fucking can't. Shit. But that is some secret that they can sign a check off and boss. So the one tip is this. The journey that you're going to go on of being you is going to be long and arduous to get to where you need to be. If you don't know where you're going, it's going to be long, arduous, and frustrating. So get to know where you're going and be you. People told me I couldn't be me. And that's where discombobulation and where unhappiness stems from, when you're not being you. I am being me, swears, non-shaved, tattoos, I'm being me. I don't have to present myself in a manner to your audience there for me to feel comfortable. But this is what people end up having to do. People end up having to be some.
Yet in a way, that's your biggest advantage.
Exactly. And you give it away. You give it away because you've seen Dragon's Den, and you look at friggin' The Apprentice. Every one of them. Morning, milk sugar. With a pink tie, pink socks. That's what you do, and a matching belt. I mean, it's like, stop. So you've just become osmosis about what Alan Sugar wants you to be for $100 grand a year job. Really? When you've got one life, you're going to go and sell yourself down the river for shit that you don't really want, to pretend to be something you're not. I know lots of these apprentice people, loads of them. I've met them all in my travels. They're not that person. They're pretending to be that person in order to win the job. Let me tell you something. If you're being something you're not to win business, that ain't success. That ain't success.
And then that leads to unhappiness, being unhealthy, and leads, and then the whole pack of cards.
No. I'll tell you what it leads to. It leads to you to feeling that success is about money. So you end up getting a load of money, You end up getting a load of money, and then you end up associating with dickheads that have nothing to do with you, that are not your people, and then you end up doing something. So here's the thing: if you're unhappy personally, and you've got a load of money, all that'll do is you'll be unhappy with a load of money. And when you're unhappy, what we end up doing when we're unhappy, you think about any time you've ever been unhappy, proper unhappy, you end up doing fun, right? So you go, for the sake of this conversation, drinking, lap dancing, whatever, right? So and we confuse fun with happy. So you go and buy a new car, it's fun for a short time, and it offsets the unhappiness. And then the unhappiness returns. So you end up doing the same and repeat. That's the danger. That is why people have overdoses. That's the reason that people fuck up and go and wrap themselves around the car because they're unhappy and they need fun. I'm telling you right now, I'm not the richest man in the world. There is entrepreneurs out there who made a whole lot more money than me. But I don't know anyone who's more happy or content. And ultimately, that's what we're doing it for, to be happy and content, because that's what success is. Success is not taking 100 grand a year to work in a fucking office that you ain't feeling. That ain't success. The world might think it is, but it isn't. Right? Do you know what success is? Jim, sorry, mate. You know what success is? Is at 9:43 in this morning, prior to me speaking to you, I've been watching Netflix, Bird Box. Right? I'm about halfway through. It's quite good, by the way. And then when we finish this, I'm going to go out to the gym with my wife. And yet I'm the dickhead. What? You know?
But the one thing is that, and I completely get that, and the message for people out there is to realize that before you get really type 2 diabetes or whatever that may be. But then the other thing is you might have to marry that up with putting the hard yards in now to get yourself to and enjoy the rest.
So true. So let me be quite clear. However, knowing what I know now, if I had my time again, which I don't, bear in mind, an expert is someone that has made all the mistakes in a particular niche field. If you want to be an expert, you've got to make mistakes. That's why I consider myself an expert at business or motivation and so forth, because I've made all the mistakes. I've got type 2 diabetes. It's all managed under control with diet. I don't have any tablets, blah, 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 blah. But if I knew what I do now, it would have been managed and I wouldn't have type 2 diabetes.
Yep.
Do you know what I mean?
Yep.
So why do we wait till we get the shit hits the fan before we make changes? So the idea, and this is what I do with my Now Club, is I see people before they are about to fall off the ledge. And I say, listen, if you continue as you are, you're going to fall off the ledge. And you can either disregard that or you can say, okay, maybe Brad's right on this one because of the experience.
Yeah, that's a hell of. And I was actually going to ask you, what would you tell your 15-year-old self? But no doubt you'd probably say that there.
No. What I'd say to my 15-year-old self is wear a condom.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Mate, it's a single piece of advice that lads ignore and kids ignore, and actually my boy ignores the same advice.
Right, we're gonna scoot on. A couple of fun questions, bit of crack at the end here. What's the best and worst purchases you've ever made?
Oh, great question. So my Lamborghini isn't a Lamborghini; it's an arcade machine. I have an arcade machine, a full-size arcade machine.
I've seen
and
that.
Actually, mate, let me tell you, it gives me joy. It's one of the few material things, like genuinely, without question, it gives me joy. It gives me life, and I think it's about being 8-year-old again. I think it's about being 8-year-old, 1981, 1982, over in Real, being a kid, looking up. And I remember saying to myself, oh, I'm going to get an arcade machine when I'm older. And I realised that dream. So that's my best purchase. I'll tell you an interesting one as a worst purchase. It's a good story, this one. I remember going to IKEA. I lived in a maisonette and I had a 2-bedroom maisonette, of which there was one room that was livable. The rest were all shitholes. And I remember going to IKEA and I seen a lamp, 65 quid. I picked the label and it said 65 quid. I'm not paying 65 quid for a freaking lamp. Put it down. That evening, I spent £80 on cocaine. And the next day, I woke up having done 80 quid on drugs. And my house is still a shithole and I don't have a lamp. And I never made any progress.
Yeah.
There is a lesson there for life and a metaphor for life. You know, so my worst purchase, as fun as it was probably £80 worth of drugs.
It's like someone said to me, most choices you make, and I know you're talking about decisions, and make quality decisions faster. And it's actually sitting back and going, is this going to work for me or not? No matter what the hell it is, if it's the bloody having the 5th Chinese of the week or whatever, you know what I mean?
But you don't see that because you're on autopilot. That's the thing. We're on autopilot, and you need to switch it off because we don't know why we make the decisions we do. We make the decisions we do because it's fun or we're unhappy. So rather than looking as to why you're unhappy, what we do is we offset it with fun, and that's what I did back in the day. And I did that for years, many years, and I never made any progress. And the time when I started making progress in my life was when I started recognizing my fallibility and those things that needed to be addressed. Excuse me, properly addressed.
Whenever there's a book, The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck by Mark Manson.
Manson, yeah.
His I think the last chapter is about thinking about your own mortality. You're actually going to die. So let's get to it and just embrace this thing called life, which hit home.
I'm not ready yet. It's on my audio.
Good book, man. Good one. Right. Have you ever met one of your heroes?
No, but I think, well, I've met several heroes, and what I mean by that is I've got people around me who I admire and respect. I'll give you a 15-second overview about 3 people. One, Roy Hurley. Roy Hurley was the guy who told me, give me the confidence to go for it in business, because if it wasn't for him saying, Brad, you don't realise how clever you are. If it wasn't for him, I would never have started a business off. Roy Hurley is a friend of mine and he runs a mining firm over in Australia. Ian Dixon's my business coach. Ian Dixon is he understands me and understands what I stand for and how I do it. Crosley, my mindset technician. I've got these people around me, like my support team that really galvanise and give me the strength and courage to go on. My biggest hero would have been Tony Blair. Tony Blair, I was unemployed, long-term unemployed, 2 years unemployed. Labour got in and within 9 days I got myself a job. Things can only get better. The euphoria, open neck. I think I modelled for networking, certainly back in the early days, on Tony Blair and New Labour. And never met him though, so not really met any of my heroes, but hopefully that gives you the answer.
Well, I don't do pedestals, right? So if I met the Queen or if I met the Pope, I would still, and they annoyed me, I would still tell them.
I'm the same.
But I've only got 2 people I put on pedestals. That's my mum and my dad. So I'm very fortunate with them, and I have to mention them at any time I talk about anything. Last one: cardio or weights?
So weights, I think I when I was a kid, I used to push heavier weights than I do at the moment. I've not really got that mindset. I'm 45, 46 next month, and I kind of realised that, I am what I am. All right. As long as I'm not fat, I don't think you can trust a fat motivational speaker. And actually, people get pissed off when I say that. No, but I was a fat motivational speaker. I was 3 stone heavier. And actually, when I look at myself, I look like a fat zombie. If people want to go and check out what I look like, go Google Brad Burton working lunch BBC. You'll see a YouTube of me live on television talking, doing an interview. I was out of control. So I go do weights, and I wish I was thinner tummy, but requires eating less, but I like curries. And this is the thing, we can't go left and right at the same time. I want abs, but I like pizza. Make your mind up. So weights, definitively. I kind of wish I could do heavier weights, but I just can't be arsed. So I'm realistic and honest about it.
Yeah, it was a loaded question because I bloody hate cardio because I've done it this morning and I vomited everywhere. So hey, there you go.
You? Wow, push yourself up.
Bloody hate it. Man, thanks very much for that. Love the chat.
Enjoyed that, Jim Bob.
People will get a couple of gems out of that there. So here, thanks very much, and sure, we'll talk to you again.
You got it. Cheers, Ben. See you in a bit.